Hey there, it's your host Dan once again. We're up to part 8 of the C4 front end collision repair that I'm doing myself, DIY. Today I picked up a front end, whole front end. I got the bumper, impact bar, and I even got the tie bar attached to it too, where they cut it off the frame rails. I've also got the supports, the 2 bars on both sides, and also the skids, so this is pretty well complete. But I've got to go through this, and I've got to clean this up, and I've got to take this apart. I also picked up a new hood too. I got that in the same swoop. Now this hood's in pretty decent shape. It doesn't have any cracks in it. You know, I got a little chip here. There's one on the other side in the same spot. Might be a tiny chip under this edge, but no cracks in it. And let's see, just a little chip here. This might be down with the gel coat. That'll probably sand out. Little scratches here should sand out. And this also has that bracket on the back side for the 85 through 87. So I have no problems. I don't have to transfer that over. I'll get this cleaned up and get that emblem pulled. But first I'm going to start on this front end. And I'm going to get this pulled apart and get this cleaned and get this detailed up just like the front end over here. I'm going to take this frame section off the nose. And to do so, I'm going to use my special little wrench I bought with the end on it that flexes back and forth. It's really nice. It makes it hard to get in tight spaces. Here on the bottom, you can get about a quarter turn when this is all, you know, in the car and everything else is around it. I could be using a socket and a ratchet here, but I figure I'd just do this for illustration purposes to show you how I got it out, how I got my nose off my car. And on this top bolt, I can only get about a 1/16 of a turn, but I can take it out by hand after that once I get it loose. And I'll just go over to the other side, do the same thing. Break that nut free, get it loose where I can take it off by hand. Same thing with the bottom. There's only 4 of these that hold the nose to the front tie bar. And then the tie bar just will lift right off, or your bumper will come off the car. Here I'll save these shims. Looks like there's 3 of them. Next I'll go for these sport bars that are on the skids, 13 millimeter on each side. It's a nut and a bolt. Go ahead and loosen those up. And I'm going to take the nut, the bolt, and also those 2 washers and put them back together just to be organized and remember where they go. Here, this bar, yeah, that looks straighter than mine that's bent, and so does this one. So I'll put those off to the side. Take off the bars on the driver's side, repeating the procedure. Don't need those, but I'll just put those aside too. And now on the front edge of the bumper, there are 4 7 millimeters in the front. I couldn't really show that before because I didn't want to crawl under the car with the camera, but I'll go ahead and I'll zip those on out. And also there's going to be a couple more 7 millimeters that are going to be on the sides of the skids, just one on each side. You look up underneath where the radiator is when your bumper's still on the car, you see those. So there'll be 6 of those in total. And while I got 7 mil out, I'll start just taking every 7 mil I see out of the bumper. 7 mil there for the bracket that holds the wiring in place. We'll set that aside. Same thing on the other side. Zip out every 7 mil there. Now, these lights on the side are a little bit different than the lights I originally had. They plug into the side and lock into place. Mine were on the top. I mean, I don't mind a light that goes inside and locks in. It's probably easier to get to than one on the top, but there's another problem. These lights, where that side marker is, the plug that goes in there on this one goes in and then it turns and locks into place. There's like 2 little tabs that hold it in place. On my bumper, original one, it's a little different. It's kind of like 4 little square notches, and it goes in there, twists and locks into place. So I'm either going to have to get 85 side marker lights, or I'm going to have to replace the wiring. And here I'm going to go for the nose. I'm going to get that big trim that runs along the front. I'll unbolt the skids like shoehorns. I wanted to get this out because I'm going to pull that belt molding off all the way around the front of the nose, because this bumper's painted white, and if somebody tries to paint that, I don't know if they're going to be able to get into that edge where you see a white line, or it could flake off. So that's why I wanted to get this out, and I'm going to shoot these with some penetrant, but I needed to get this out first so I can get to the bolts in the front. So this side marker light on the corner is broken, the bracket where it attaches to. I've already loosened there's 4 10mm for that bracket. There we go. Looks like I got it. There we go. Okay. Yep. Here's what I was talking about. Right here, it's broken on the back side. I'm gonna get the other driving light out too, just to go through it. On that bracket here where I took out the 4 bolts, there is a rivet down through one of these centers. I'm not going to drill that out, so this bracket will stay in place, but it will allow me to kind of lift up on it a little bit, enough leverage to get the angle I need to slide the light on out. There we go. It's really dirty. I'm gonna clean this up. I'm gonna see how nice it comes out. I flipped the bumper cover over and I put it on top of my dirty pillow, if anybody remembers that from the headlight video. Don't laugh at me. It's my dirty pillow. But I'm gonna come in here and give these things a nice shot, because the guy I got the bumper cover from said don't take these off, and I was like, well, I'm gonna have to for paint. All these clips are gonna have to be removed, so we'll come in and get all these off. Here, I'll come in and get that 7mm out for the side marker light. So we'll have to get these switched out. Easier just to go with the 85 ones. There we go. Same thing on this bumper like on my bumper. There's no screw right here. Interesting, huh? Let's go to the other side, do the same. Now the tie bar here, the one that was off the salvage car, is still attached to the front frame rails, which is the spot welds right here. It was just lopped off probably with a sawzall. So I'm going to get this off of those frame rails, and I got to drill out the spot welds, which to do so before I start, I'm just going to make like a centering hole just so my drill bit doesn't want to wander. That should be at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 spot welds to drill out. Now, I've never drilled spot welds out before. I know the idea is you just want to drill just through only the top plate. You don't want to drill through the other side. Well, it doesn't really matter at this point because the frame rails are garbage. I could buzz right through it. Because I got a feeling, even though this is all the way drilled through now, it's going to want to still stay on there, right? Yep, of course. No, I gotta go a little bigger. And here, I'm just gonna bump that up 2 steps to a 1964. That should hopefully release it. We're getting there. We're getting there. She might just... Well, okay. Well, we're getting her. Getting closer. There's one more. That's another one. I think there's just one left holding it on. There we go. Alright, I got the frame rail, front of it, completely off here. And when I take the one off of my car, obviously I don't want to drill through and make holes this big. Okay, so next up I'm just going to repeat the same procedure to this side and get these spot welds drilled out and get this frame rail pulled off the tie bar. There we go, there's 1, 2, 3. Thank God. Okay. Hopefully I didn't injure her too badly. Still pretty well straight as far as the bar goes. So if I can't bend mine back straight, I might reuse this and swap this over to the front end of my car. Put brackets, looks like already welded on here on the top, but that's a possibility, and that's why I wanted to get this off for now in case I decide to swap this out and the bending back doesn't work. I've already got this part. It's not like I gotta go and hunt it down and source it out. I got the nut off in the corner of the bumper, and the belt molding's in 3 pieces. There's a left and right side and a part that goes around the front. There's also some snap clips here for the belt molding. It goes on the side. You got to kind of pry those ears away to get them to go down the hole through the metal bracket. And once you do, the bracket will release, and then you can pull that up and off. Now onto the belt molding. Here's where the stud is for the nut on the end. You got to be real careful because if that twists, it's going to be ruined if it's, you know, frozen, locked into place. I'm going to go back to the bumper. It's been a few hours. I've hit all those nuts at least 2 or 3 times with PB. I said I was going to wait some days, but I'm kind of getting anxious, and I'm just going to see if any of the bolts will start to break free without, you know, hardly any force. I'll take them off. This one's coming off, but a little slow, so I'm just going to shoot it again. Make sure it gets all nice and soaked with the PB. Because I'd like to get all these nuts off without, you know, hopefully messing anything up here. I was highly advised not to take this rub strip off the bumper, but I'm doing it. And then once I shot that one wet, that one's coming off pretty easy. And I'm doing the same thing, just going along the row. Any ones that I can get off real easy, I take them off. If they're tight, I spray them and wait. And surprisingly, most of them are coming off pretty easy. There were only a couple that I had to repeatedly spray and then go back to, and if they just felt like they were too tight, I would just wait. So I was able to get all those 10 millimeters off the front bumper. and the belt molding will just pull right off the front with just a little wiggle womp, wiggle womp. There we go. And surprisingly, I didn't break a single stud. I didn't twist anything off. It's going to go back on just like it came off. Everything's all still intact, surprisingly. And here in the front nose, this is why I took this off, because this is a white bumper and I'm going to go completely black. And this edge in here, I'm just too worried that it's going to show and they're not going to get in there fully with black paint, and you're going to look at it at funny angles and you're going to see the white line there in the belt molding. Here on the edge, looks like I noticed a little bump, but it's that bracket, looks like it's bent, and that's also kind of holding the bottom part of the bumper, like deforming it to the bracket, so I'll fix that. It's pretty scummy on the inside, so I'm going to have to clean this completely out, do some detailing 101 on it. Well, alright, it's now the next day. I got a lot done yesterday. Went out, rented a truck, picked up the nose and the hood. I've got the nose fully disassembled. I've got that belt molding off without breaking a single bolt on it. Kind of surprised. The front tie bar, I got that removed off the old frame rails. And I've got a lot of parts here on my workbench, which I've got to go through and clean all that stuff up and get that organized, put my tools away. Stay tuned. We're going to keep going on this repair, and we're going to see it through to completion. So once again, hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.